angels and demons. Heather here with another speed paint video. I seem to have noticed that even though I like to do DIYs and Disney videos as well, and vlogs when I have the time, I tend to do the most of Let's Plays and speed paints because they're the easiest ones I can do, and not to mention I don't have to get out of the house. And because of how I said that I don't really have much time on my hands, I do what I can. But anyway, I've decided to do a little quick story. It's an embarrassing story that happened all throughout my, let's see, I think it was my freshman year, if not sophomore year. Yeah, so okay. Yeah, this was actually my sophomore year that I think about it. So in the summer, from when I was becoming a freshman to a sophomore, I got my first cell phone. Yay! Yes, I know. I was 15 and a half when I got my first cell phone. How pathetic is that? I mean, my siblings are younger than that, and they've gotten their first cell phones, and just I should have gotten it when I was in middle school, but that's a whole different story. You know what? I'm probably not gonna bring it up again, so I might as well tell it now. So in my family, you had to earn certain things, and I was supposed to earn my cell phone by getting halfway through my personal progress. Now my brother, he had to do something, I don't remember what exactly it was, for Boy Scouts, but he had to do something for Boy Scouts in order to earn his cell phone. Now, unlike me, my parents had to push my brother, even with the reward, to get him to do his work. They had to constantly nag him. While with me, they didn't talk to me at all. They just simply said, do this and you get a cell phone. And I was lightning quick. And it came to a point where me and my brother were tied on who it would be. And guess what? My parents were going to get new cell phones, and they thought now would be a good time to get the cell phones. And they gave the cell phone to my brother. I was pissed because they had to push him and nag him to get his work done. Well, I didn't, and I actually worked hard to earn that cell phone, and yet he gets it, he doesn't. I was like, oh, come on, he doesn't deserve it. Am I going to get my cell phone when I'm done? They were all like, no, sorry, sweetie, it's going to have to wait. I was throwing a fit, and I had a right to throw that fit because I worked hard, and he didn't, and yet he just got it because he was the older one. It was not fair. I mean, seriously, I couldn't help but think, geez, talk about favoritism. But I have dropped it now because, well, it is what it is. And hey, I was actually the first person to use his cell phone. He didn't get to use his cell phone. I was given the cell phone to use when I was going to Disneyland in the 8th grade. And when I went to Disneyland in the 7th grade, I was given my mom's cell phone to use. So, yeah. But in the 8th grade, they decided, you're going to get Benjamin's cell phone to use. And my brothers are like, what? And I'm all like, ha! I get to be the first one to use your cell phone. Ha ha! See, that's why I've forgotten why I've forgiven my parents now. Although it did take me some time to figure out how to use it, not because it was a weird cell phone, but because they forgot to tell me what the passcode was. And because I didn't know what the passcode was, I couldn't call them and say, hey, what's the passcode? And I did not memorize their number, so I couldn't use someone else's number. So I tried to guess it myself, what the passcode was on the ride to California. And then after some time of trying to guess what the passcode is through birthdays and random codes that my brother would probably do, I gave up and was all like, you know what, I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. 000. Nope. 0001. Nope. I did that for like an hour, or I don't know how long it took, but until I finally got to 1313, and it opened, I'm all like, I'm stupid! I should have guessed that one, because he was very into Kingdom Hearts back then, and I was like, Organization 13. Why didn't I think of that? It took me a long time to get to that because I was going from 0, 0, 0, 0, and yeah, I went through 1,000. I went through 1,000 combinations, over 1,000 combinations, to finally get to that. But I did manage to get to it, and when I did, the first thing I did was call my mom and go, Mom, you did not tell me the passcode. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's right, I didn't, I'm sorry. And I'm like, yeah, I spent the last whatever time trying to figure it out. And she's like, I'm sorry, okay? Yeah, Mom, why give your daughter a cell phone that she has that she can't access to? That's a little... So that was that little experience of me playing around with my brother's cell phone. Luckily, I managed to figure it out before I desperately needed it, because, oh boy, do I have a story where I actually did need my cell phone. Well, technically my brother's cell phone during that trip. But that's going to be for another video, and I guarantee you on that. And it's a good one. So back to the original story I was going to tell. So when I got my first cell phone, I've set it up, and the thing with this cell phone, it was a flip phone, and I actually really liked the idea of having a flip phone because I liked to watch all those animes where all these characters had flip phones, and so seeing that I got my own, I was like, yay, 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 yay. I decorated with these squishy stickers that with these Japanese Disney style squishy stickers that I surprisingly got at the BYU bookstore. And later I added a Kurapika keychain onto it because I was able to hang a keychain on this cell phone. Yay! So it looked all nice and cutesy. I loved it. It was amazing. And what really blew my mind was not only was I able to set up my own wallpaper, well, duh, I was also able to set up my ringtone to whatever I wanted, of whether I had a ring, whether someone was calling me or giving me a text message. So depending on what I was into at the time, I would change the ringtone to whatever the ringtones to match with my wallpaper. If my wallpaper was Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter, whenever I would get a phone call, it would ring Departure, and whenever I would get a text, it would ring Just Awake. You get the idea. So later I set it up so that way I'd get text messages when I got Facebook notifications. I don't get those messages now that I have a smartphone, and so I don't necessarily need that. But anyway, after I set this up was when I was taking choir classes. Now, the thing is, when I set my phone on vibrate or silent, I'm unable to use the alarm on it. And what I mean by I'm unable to use the alarm on it, the alarm won't go off. I mean, it will go off, but it won't be all like da 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 or whatever song I picked for the alarm. It would vibrate, and we all know hearing a vibration is not enough to wake someone up. So I would make sure that my phone was not on vibrate when I was home, so that way I could use it as an alarm for the next day. And I have early morning seminary, and if you guys haven't seen Sugar's video about seminary, check it out and you'll understand the absolute agony that is early morning seminary. I had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to get ready because my carpool would come by to pick me up at 5:30. So yeah, I had to wake up super early to go to this class. So this was high school, so I was not used to this. I had to set up that alarm. I had to be sure that alarm was on, because if it was not on, you better guarantee I'd be sleeping right through it. In fact, it's happened to me 2 times in the past, I believe, if not more. And it's happened to my brothers, too. And I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up happening to my sisters. Okay, moving on. So, yeah, whenever I would wake up and turn off my alarm, there were times when I would, right after turning off my alarm, I would put it on vibrate so that way I could just put it in my bag and not have to worry about it. But a good amount of the time, I would forget to do this. And when I did, you better believe it's going to go off during school. Now, no one really calls me or texts me during school because, well, the people who would know them in school and would get in a lot of trouble if it went off. So I didn't really have any issues. But during choir class, when everyone's talking, is when the teacher's talking and everyone's quiet, that's when my phone would ring, giving me a notification. It was a text from Facebook of my notifications. And at first, the first time that it happened, people were all like, what is that? Because it was an anime ringtone. And so I knew immediately that it was mine. I go to my phone, turn it off by pressing a random button. I stop the music by pressing a random button. And the person standing next to me and a few others were all like, what kind of ringtone was that? And I'm all like, it's an anime ringtone, okay? I'm a nerd. And it ended up happening a ton of times. And after like the third time, the teacher's all like, what's that? And I'm all like, it's Facebook notifications. Whenever it would happen, everyone would hear the weird song and everyone's all like, Heather's phone's going off again. I go, well, sorry that I have an ancient phone and that I'm a nerd, okay? I've pretty much learned that the very second I hear that, I now stand close to my backpack after a few times, so that way, if I had forgotten to do it, if it rings, I would quickly put my hand in the pocket that I hold my phone, quickly press a button to stop the ringtone, so that way it wouldn't go off more than like 2 seconds max. That was my experience with choir. Like, whenever kids would hear it, they're all like, Heather's phone's going off again. But at least it was nice to educate them about anime. I'm all like, oh, you gotta check it out. But I doubt they did. They're all like, weirdo. So yeah, that was my story about my phone going off in the middle of class. And also another story of me trying to figure out my brother's cell phone. So hope you enjoyed these stories. And I also hope you enjoyed the speed paint. Have a good day and may angels be with ya.